Hello! So as many of you know, I am off travelling in April in 7 weeks. It's 7 weeks, it's not long to go at all. So I'm off to Australia on a working holiday visa for 1 year. But before I travel to Australia, and by the way, I'm going with my friend Sarah, we are travelling through and across the whole world to get there. And we were able to get an amazing price on the flights and hotels. And I just wanted to share with you where we're going and how much we're going for, because the price was really cheap. Okay, so I think I should start off by saying, originally Sarah and I went to STA Travel and we told them that we wanted to go to Australia and we wanted to do the working holiday visa, but they tried selling us something that we didn't really want to do. I wanted to go to Borneo for definite to see orangutans, and I wanted to just go to Borneo, and I also wanted to see Singapore, and Sarah was pretty much the same as well. So when we went to STA Travel, they tried selling us Heathrow to Thailand and Thailand to Sydney, which wasn't what we wanted to do at all. And they wanted to charge us £700 for those flights, which is a lot of money. And we were like, we don't even really want to go to Thailand, but if we have to go via Thailand to get to our ultimate destination of Australia, then we'll go to Thailand. But then we were thinking, do you know what, actually, no, let's go back and do a bit of research and a bit of our own work and see what we can find. And that's what we did. I'm just going to break it down for you. Break it down now. I also just want to say that some of the places we're going to, I am really excited about going there, but in order for us to have got there, we had to go via another city, which I'm fine about. I'm traveling and I don't mind seeing some new cities, but for example, the first place we're going to is Stockholm, and I wouldn't have necessarily said Stockholm was somewhere that I definitely wanted to go to. But anyway, this is our itinerary. Okay, I'm going to use my laptop because there's so much. Just remember, £700, London, Thailand, Sydney. £700, remember that. Not even a return flight. Okay, so we are flying from Birmingham to Stockholm, Stockholm to Bangkok, Bangkok to Krabi, Krabi back to Bangkok, Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur, Kuala Lumpur to Kota Kinabalu, Kota Kinabalu to Sandakan, Sandakan back to Kota Kinabalu, Kota Kinabalu to Singapore, Singapore to Sydney, and then Sydney to Cairns. So in total there's 11 flights. Looking back at it now we've done lots of research, we actually could have missed out one of those flights because we're going from Bangkok to Krabi, and then from Krabi we're going back to Bangkok to go to Kuala Lumpur, but we could have actually flown from Krabi to Kuala Lumpur. The price that all of those flights came to in total, including 20 kilos of luggage on every flight, the Kota Kinabalu to Sandakan return, because we're just taking a day bag because we're only going for a couple of nights to see the orangutans and do a turtle experience. The total was £1,311.96 total, which means each it was £655.96. £655.96 to get from Birmingham to Cairns, going through all of these amazing places first and taking 11 flights with baggage. £655, bargain. That is so cheap. Also, we are staying in hotels and we're staying in hostels. We're trying to go as cheap as possible, so we're staying in a mixture of places. For example, when we go to Stockholm, we're staying on a boat with no windows for the first couple of days, and when we go to Sandakan, we're staying in a lodge which is in the jungle. But anyway, bearing in mind that we leave the UK on the 28th of April and we arrive in Cairns on the 20th of May, but then have 3 nights in Cairns, so that's nearly a month's worth of accommodation. The total came to £661.89, which is £330.95p each. So in total, for all the flights, all the baggage, all of the accommodation, under £1,000. I think that's pretty good. The other thing that we did add on was a meal from Stockholm to Bangkok, just because Stockholm is going to be really expensive. The meal was £25 on the plane. We've got a 7-hour flight on the plane. It was just easier for us to know that we've got a meal that's pre-booked and ready for us when we get onto the plane. Quite expensive. You get drinks and things during the flight, so I don't mind paying that. So I'm going to tell you really quickly how we got those prices and how we got them so cheap, because they're really cheap. So starting off then with the flight, I decided one morning going to look on Skyscanner. Skyscanner is our saving grace. Skyscanner is really, really good. You can put in your departing city, then you can choose anywhere. So I obviously wanted to start really from London, and then I typed in Thailand because I thought, hey, this is how STA were going to get us to Australia, so let's do London Heathrow to Thailand and see what that costs. Came up with the price. Then I thought, let me try it from Birmingham to Thailand, and it came up with a cheaper price. So I thought, well, let's now go Birmingham to Stockholm, Stockholm to Thailand, and see what that price is. And it came even cheaper as 2 single flights without that connection. Then I started typing in random cities to try and get us to Singapore and Borneo, one of which was going to Kuala Lumpur, and I always wanted to go to Kuala Lumpur anyway. So I typed in Thailand to Kuala Lumpur, and they were coming up as a really reasonable price. So then I started adding everything together, and on Skyscanner there's an option which is multi-city. Multi-city is just there, and you click that, and then it gives you options all along here to add in the different cities. And also there's a button which is just there, and it's add another flight. So you can keep adding those flights, and you keep adding them and adding them, and you keep working out which city is it cheaper to go through, and then spend a couple of days there in order to get to your final destination. And it just worked out to be really cheap because we kept changing the days. We'd look at the dates and we'd maybe change it by a day, see if that worked out cheaper. If that worked out cheaper, then we'd be like, cool, that's cheaper, now let's find somewhere to go from there that's a little bit further towards Australia and still really, really cheap. Then we'd find somewhere else and we'd go along there, and then we'd be like, right, so now we're in Singapore, we need to get to Australia. Is it cheaper to fly from Singapore to Sydney, or is it cheaper to fly from Singapore? And we would just work it out step by step, and it came out really, really cheap. And then with the hotels, I would say compare on different sites. So first of all, if you want to stay in, for example, Singapore, type in where you want to stay, have a look at the hotels, try and find one that you think is quite nice, have a look at the reviews before you start doing some serious searching. And when you think you've found the one, have a look on hotels.com, have a look on booking.com, have a look on expedia.com, and look on their actual website. So find their website and see how much it would cost. But bear in mind, if you book in the currency of where that hotel is, you may need to also pay an exchange rate with your credit card. So sometimes it may look like it's cheaper, but bear in mind there might actually be an additional cost. I would also say hotels.com are really good because they've got a loyalty program where if you collect 10 nights, you get your 11th night free. So we've tried to book as many of our hotels through hotels.com. If there was a £1 or £2 difference, if it was say cheaper by £1 or £2 on booking.com, we would still book through hotels.com. We've now filled our stamp book online, and we can now get a free night somewhere, which is a bonus. So on top of all that, we've got a free night somewhere if we get stuck in Australia. So that's really cool as well. So I would say if you're looking to go traveling, or you're just looking for somewhere exciting to go and explore, have a look on Skyscanner before you book anything through a travel agent, because I guarantee if you do a little bit of work, spend a couple of hours on your own trying to look for a really great bargain, you'll find one, and you'll be able to go to lots of different cities that you probably didn't think about going to ever. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about any of the places that I'm going, how I booked something, anything at all, let me know down in the comments. And I am off on the 28th of April, leaving from Birmingham, going to Stockholm, and then starting my adventure, and then heading to Australia slowly via all of these different cities I'm going to love so much. And then I'm spending a year in Australia. I'm not sure what's going to happen during that year, where I'm going to end up working, but make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'll be vlogging the entire trip. I've just realised, by the way, how blue I am. Why do I look so blue? What's going on with the sky today, or with my... I look like an alien.